I never imagined grief could be mocked. As I stood at my husband's funeral, holding back tears, my daughter-in-law leaned close and whispered, "Those shoes are hideous. Couldn't you at least dress properly?" My heart stopped, not from her cruelty, but from the sting of her ignorance. Those worn-out shoes weren't just shoes. They were the last gift my husband ever gave me before he died. I didn't respond then, but that moment carved something cold inside me. She thought she'd humiliated me. She had no idea I was about to teach her the meaning of regret. The church was silent except for the soft sobs and the sound of rain tapping the windows. My husband, David, was loved by everyone. He was kind, patient, and impossibly forgiving, the complete opposite of our daughter-in-law, Clara. Clara was beautiful, young, and cruel in ways that didn't always show. She had a smile that fooled people. But I had seen her true colors long ago, how she rolled her eyes at me during dinners, called me old-fashioned, and corrected my words just to feel superior. At the funeral, I'd chosen to wear the same shoes David bought me for our 25th anniversary, pale beige with tiny scuffs at the heel. He used to say, "You look lovely in them, no matter how old they get." So, I wore them to honor him, not realizing that those same shoes would spark the cruelest insult I'd ever receive. When Clara whispered her insult, my knees nearly buckled. My son, Michael, was too broken to notice, standing beside the coffin in silence. I wanted to scream at her, to tell her what those shoes meant. But I stayed quiet. I knew time would do my talking for me, in a way that would cut deeper than any words could. After the funeral, Clara became colder. She didn't offer condolences. She criticized the food I'd prepared for guests, called my home outdated, and even mocked the photo I placed of David on the mantel, saying it was too depressing. I began noticing how my son avoided confrontation. He was grieving but also trapped, always torn between his wife's arrogance and my quiet sadness. I didn't blame him, love blinds us in strange ways. Weeks passed, and Clara started hinting about moving forward. She wanted to sell my husband's old car, donate his clothes, and even suggested I move into a retirement home so they could manage the house better. I knew what that meant. She wanted my home, my memories, and everything I'd built with David. I agreed politely, pretending to consider it. She smiled, thinking she'd won. But deep down, I was planning something. David had taught me to stay calm when wronged, and to let people bury themselves with their own greed. One afternoon, when Clara came over wearing her new designer heels, she said, "You should really invest in better shoes. People talk, you know." I smiled at her for the first time since the funeral. "You're right," I said softly. "It's time for a change." She didn't realize that change was already in motion, one that would expose her in front of everyone she cared about. A month later, I hosted a small family dinner to honor what would have been David's birthday. Everyone came, old friends, relatives, even neighbors who adored him. Clara, of course, arrived dressed like she was attending a fashion show. I'd spent the week quietly preparing, not just the meal, but the moment of truth. Before the dinner, I'd found something in David's old study, a letter addressed to me and Michael. Inside was his final will. It hadn't been opened because my husband had updated it shortly before his passing, and Clara had somehow misplaced the envelope when organizing his documents. When I showed it to Michael privately, his face turned pale. The letter stated that our house and part of David's inheritance were meant for me, not for them to manage or sell. Michael had never seen it. Clara had kept it hidden. During dinner, I decided to reveal the truth. I stood up, holding the letter. "David left a message for us all," I said calmly. Clara froze. I read aloud his words, about love, respect, and the importance of family. Then I handed the letter to Michael and added, "He also ensured this home remains in the right hands." The silence was suffocating. Clara's fake smile vanished. Eyes turned to her, questioning, judging. She tried to speak, but her voice cracked. That was the moment regret finally flickered across her perfect face. After the dinner, Clara stormed into the kitchen where I was cleaning dishes. Her heels clicked like thunder on the tile. "You humiliated me in front of everyone," she hissed. I turned to her slowly. "You humiliated yourself," I said softly. "You tried to erase a man's memory for your comfort. You tried to take what wasn't yours." She laughed bitterly. "All this over a pair of shoes?" I looked down at the old beige pair I was wearing again that night. "You mocked these at David's funeral," I reminded her. "Do you know why I wore them?" She rolled her eyes. "Because you're sentimental?" No, I said, my voice shaking but steady. Because he bought them for me the day he found out he was sick. He said they were the last thing he wanted to see me wear when he looked at me. They were love, Clara. You mocked love. For the first time, she didn't have a comeback. Her lips trembled. Then Michael entered the kitchen, holding the will. Clara, he said coldly, I can't believe you hid this from me. You betrayed my father's last wish. Tears welled in her eyes, but it was too late. That night, Michael packed a bag and left with me. Clara's perfect world crumbled. Her friends found out about the will. Her family distanced themselves. Karma didn't need my help, it simply arrived, wearing my old shoes. Some wounds don't need revenge, just truth. I didn't scream or plot or destroy her. I simply revealed what she tried to bury. The shoes she mocked became her reminder of what she'd lost, her respect, her marriage, and her pride. I still wear them sometimes, scuffed and faded, but they make me smile. Because they're proof that dignity always outlasts cruelty. And when people ask about them now, I just say, these shoes walked through grief, and came out stronger.